everybody, it is no secret that music production has become a dystopian hellhole shaped by AI and Bond villain-like streaming platform CEOs, so it must have dawned on even the most old-school synth and studio traditionalist that the only thing that still counts is real people doing their thing. As a response to this post-everything scenario, we are going to brush up on the world of plugins, introduce audio boomers to computer-based sound generators and processors, and massage the dopamine system of software aficionados with an obscene amount of memes. Chapter 1. All plugins sound the same. All plugins sound the same unless you pick the wrong one for the task. As soon as a sound is tightly embedded in a mix, no one, including you, will be able to tell the difference between 90s freeware jank and pigment. If you recorded something correctly, it doesn't matter whether your EQ is phase coherent, and vital sounding worse than serum is definitely a skill issue. The two most important questions you have to ask yourself are: is it the right plugin for the job, and will the plugin's UI, CPU consumption and tonal idiosyncrasies drive you insane? Yes, Diva will most likely be better at vintage synth reimaginings than Massive, and you will believe to hear subtle differences between bus compressor emulations after wasting years on pointless shootouts like I did. But in the end, you could have spent all that time on actually making music, because no one but a loose gang of keyboard warriors who haven't finished a track in decades gives a damn. Fun fact, the same applies to the ongoing battle between software and hardware nerds, leading us to Chapter 2. Plugins are objectively better than hardware. There's a lot of talk about one knob per function ergonomics, high-end analog circuitry and crunchy converter artifacts, but let's be honest, most hardware UIs suck, and you would most probably fail a properly administered blind test. Sure, if you just spent 8 to 12 hours staring into the soul-crushing void that is Microsoft Teams, marveling at the even smaller screen of a hardware groovebox or knob of a boutique guitar pedal can be a breath of fresh air. But just in case your aim isn't occupational therapy for grown-ups instead of actual music production, plugins are just better. I'm not even talking about the horrors of ancient romplers, cryptic rack reverbs, or crackly analog antiques reeking of WD-40. All but the most unique sounding hardware units and groundbreaking workflow wonders are inferior. They give you less information on what's going on, and you presumably haven't been tweaking more than 2 parameters anyways. Chapter 3. Get a proper computer. Unless you are a Steve Jobs fan person or gaming PC build enthusiast, buying a computer is literal hell, but more often than not, complaints about the brutal hardware demands of contemporary plugins are mostly down to you not having updated your computer since the discovery of the Higgs boson. I know it hurts to spend big bucks on something that is destined to become obsolete, but at least pretend to be an adult every 5 to 10 years, set aside the funds that would have gotten you yet another polyphonic analog synth or tube compressor you don't need, and enjoy the pleasant side effects like smooth video playback, ungodly amounts of open tabs in Chrome, and giving your tax consultant something to work with. Chapter 4. Plugins will become obsolete. Speaking of obsolescence, chances are that each time the painful music computer purge rears its ugly head, some of your plugins will go the way of the dodo. This is frustrating, a clear indicator that human civilization is doomed and completely unacceptable! Regardless of whether it's a 32-bit plugin that has become your secret sauce, a manufacturer that wants you to spend more money on stuff you already bought twice, or an instrument from the time when NI was cool. Just freeze the damn tracks on your old system, copy them to the new one, trauma dump on like-minded Reddit users, and move on. It's not like your hardware setup hasn't changed over the last 10 years. Chapter 5. Plugins have only one downside. We're talking about latency. I hate it, there's no way around it, and the more complex your DAW sessions become, the more of a clustercluck it gets. Some DAWs let you switch to a low latency mode, but I can always hear it and it reliably ruins my day regardless of how much processing power and high-end audio interface bling I throw at it. There is, of course, proprietary stuff like UAD and good old Pro Tools, but I'm not aware of any solution that gives you the tight feel of hardware hooked up to a mixing console. Damn, I'm old. Chapter 6. Stock plugins are awesome. Key acquisition syndrome is the most expensive way to keep hardware lovers from making music, and it's even more pointless if you are into software. The beautiful thing is, plugin gas can be avoided entirely if you stick to the tools that come with your DAW. Admittedly, it is hard to get away from that overpriced mastering suite you bought during the last loudness wars, but if you haven't fallen victim to sunk cost fallacy, that money is better spent on a proper studio chair and acoustic treatment. Stock plugins are oftentimes on par with third-party products, but they come with a serious disadvantage. It will become even harder to switch to another DAW in the future. Chapter 7. Do I need to pay for plugins? You wouldn't download a car. Chapter 8. You have too many plugins. If you thought that collecting hardware is the most reliable procrastination strategy, think again. Acquiring plugins is even more addictive, it is immediate, the first hit tends to be free, and at the end of the day you might have spent even more money on audio stuff than the average doorless person without anyone close to you even noticing. While this abundance of sonic possibilities might have helped you to break out of a writer's block once, your plugin obsession will, in all likelihood, have a negative impact on your productivity in the long run. The solution to this is easy. Get rid of everything you haven't used in a while and learn the rest inside and out. Most of the time, your mixing and sound design problems can be solved by setting levels, adding reverb and adjusting low cuts anyways. Honorable mentions. The FL Studio Suite. Not only is it technically possible to run FL Studio as a plugin in other DAWs, the stock plugins are a treasure chest of meme material. Iconic EQ shapes, seemingly Beavis and Butthead inspired software instruments, and the final boss of creative sound destruction, Sound Goodizer. The included sound generators and processors unironically put most other DAWs and even expensive specialists to shame though. Sausage Fattener. It looks like a joke, but it is, to this day, the preferred plugin for people who never understood compression and still think dubstep was cool. Synth, the ideal instrument for the 2007 YouTube video revival. Delay Lama, used in worldwide hit records and known for dominating an entire generation of psytrance dancefloor fodder, the singing monk is still the GOAT. I love it, and there's an entire video about it on this channel you should totally watch. Hope you enjoyed this little rant slash meme dump slash music production self-help slop. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and use one of the links down below regardless of whether it's software or hardware you're going to buy. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Thanks to all my patrons for supporting the channel and welcome to the monthly shoutouts. Today we are going to use Granulator 3 because it's kind of a stock plugin, but not really. It runs on Max for Life and was conceived by the one and only Robert Henke. Tier 4. Carries me.
Different creatures.
Voodoo people.
Elements Solheim.
Kelvin Steves.
JHVA. FADEC.
Calcium.
Lord Rikus.
The Mist. Candy Shaver. Plaster.
DJ Ben Diagram.
Thomas Diefenbach.
Coriolis.
Brian Gregory.
Edouard.
Marinus Quillenhoven.
Tier 6.
BMJ. the village Wallon.
Again, thank you so much for supporting the channel. See you next month.